Hi, welcome. My name's Soph. I am a third-year Carpenter apprentice with the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Millwrights. I'm based out of the Midwest, and I work primarily as a concrete carpenter, so I build concrete forms for walls and footings, but I'm primarily a wall carpenter. And I wanted to go over what I wear and kind of give a guide to maybe apprentices who are coming in who don't know anything about the trade, just like I didn't when I started, and kind of give you some ideas of what you're going to need if you're going to start a concrete job with the union. So, that being said, let's get started. Alright, so starting off with the Hardhat, because I don't really want to wear it right now, because I wear it every single day of the week. I'm just wearing a basic 3M full brim Hardhat. I know in some locals, in some areas, you need to wear a Hardhat that corresponds to your trade, but that doesn't matter with the company I'm working for and really hasn't mattered anywhere in the state that I work in. So I just wear a 3M full brim Hardhat that I got from Lowe's. The reason I wear a full brim is because I got heat stroke when I first started working in concrete in the summer, and I wore black backwards, ball cap style Hardhat. And my journeyman was 6'7", this huge freaking dude. I'm 5'6", 140 pounds, and I'm a female. And this freaking huge dude comes and pulls me off the wall that I nearly passed out on. He's like, "You're getting a full brim Hardhat, white Hardhat." And so you know what I did? I went and I bought one. So that's what I've been wearing ever since. Yeah, not much to it. Needs a new liner. Mostly PPE is, well, not mostly. By contract, our contract that we work under, PPE has to be provided by the contractor. So they should give you a hard hat, gloves, and safety glasses. I don't have gloves or safety glasses right now because I leave them on site because I have this terrible tendency of losing them in my car or at home, so I leave them at site. So that being said, I'm gonna put this down. My harness. This was not given to me by my company. I bought this of my own money because the harness that my company gave me that I was working for at the time was terrible. I am a smaller individual, obviously, so most of the harnesses are large or extra large or even like 2XL for the really big guys. So they didn't have a small harness that was any good. It was a really shitty one. So I went online and I spent the money, and it hurt. I spent like a week's pay on this, which is an ExoFit 3M. It's super comfortable. It's got padding on the inside. It's got these Cobra buckles right here, an adjustable belt. It's super, super nice. And usually I'm wearing dog chains or belly chains, whatever you want to call them, that I hook to the rebar or the forms and I can hang off of. And I've obviously got my fall protection right here. With that being said, do you need to buy a harness? No, you don't. If you need fall protection, your company by law, as far as I know, has to provide it. So don't worry about that because it's super expensive right off the bat. If you know that you're gonna be doing this for a while and you really like it and you have the money to spend on it, I would buy your own personal harness. Otherwise, it's perfectly okay not to have one. Just get a nice harness set, like suspenders, from Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, any place to hold your bags up. And that's a pretty nice segue into the next part. I wear Oxylights bags, and they were expensive too, but you don't need them to start out, right? So you can go and get a pair of like decent leather bags for about, $80, $90 at Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's, your local big box hardware store. And they'll last you until you decide this is something you want to do and you want to invest in, and you can invest and get better bags. Me personally, my bags got a hole in them after about a year, the cheap leather ones that I got at the beginning of my apprenticeship, and things started falling out of them. So one of the guys I was working with pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, you got to get different bags. These are not working. They keep falling out. It's slowing you down." And I was so embarrassed. So I went and I did my research and I got some new bags, and they've treated me great. Obviously they're a little dirty right now. I should, clean them off and keep them better. But that being said, they've held up great so far. And let's start talking about some tools you're going to need as a concrete carpenter. So starting off, you're going to need a 25-foot tape measure. Whatever you do, this is a really beat up one. Whatever you do not get a tape measure with fractions on it. Just get something like this, a nice wide tape measure that's got big numbers on it, and it helps if it's one of like the heavy use ones, right? So like a Stanley Fat Max, a DeWalt, a Milwaukee. It doesn't really matter. Right now, I'm kind of doing a thing where I'm trying every 25-foot wide blade tape measure and trying to see which one's best. This one here, the DeWalt Tough Series 25-footer, has lasted me like 6 months, and I've been doing some footing work, in the mud, and it still works. Obviously it's beat to shit, but this one's a pretty good one. Obviously Fat Max is what I started out with and what a lot of people run. So there's that. Hammer. Do not show up with a granny hammer. You need to have a framing hammer. This is a 23 ounce Vaughan hammer. I like wood because it absorbs the impact a little bit better, so I don't get a sore arm. I work with a lot of metal patented formwork panels like Miva's and Simon's and a couple of other and like Aluma forms, and when you're pounding on them all day, metal on metal, with an all metal hammer, it really takes a toll on your elbow, or at least it did for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just a pussy, but I like this because it is a lot easier on my elbow. Now, if you do choose a wood handled hammer, you need to have a backup, because if your hammer breaks and you don't have another hammer, you're worthless. A carpenter without a hammer is absolutely worthless. So make sure if you run a wood-handled hammer that you have a backup. And you don't need to be running out and grabbing a 28-ounce S-wing or a 28-ounce framing hammer. 23 is just about the heaviest that I see most people running with, who swing a hammer with every day. And I carry it right back here on a hammer holster. I don't like it in the front because it bangs on my legs, and the way I've got this set up, it doesn't hit my ass. So I don't like that. So that being said, speed square, self-explanatory. I like the Swanson speed square that's got these kind of rip markings on it, so I can, if I need to rip like a 2x4, I can just slide my pencil into it and just rip it. I like that. Pretty basic. Level. Any level really works as long as it's not like a Harbor Freight piece of crap. I love Harbor Freight, but for precision tools, you don't want that. I just chose this one because it fits into this pocket really nicely, and I also kind of like the way it looks, but it's Empire, so it's darn good. And it didn't break the bank. I think it was like $22. I'll have all the prices and whatever and links down in the description. So, utility knife, you know, I like the Milwaukee Fastbacks because they clip in really nice. They're the pouch that I've got. You'll need one. You'll use it pretty much every day. So I like the Fastback because it's light. What else have we got here? Diagonal cutters, dikes. Use it to cut just about anything. I think these are the Kleins. I've used these for like my entire apprenticeship, and I haven't had to get another pair. I know a lot of people like the hardened edged ones that have the blue handles, but these are just the ones I like. And I don't want to replace them because they're like $40. And while I could afford it, I don't want to. Linesman pliers. Need these. Use it to tie rebar. We don't do a lot of rebar tying because we try and respect the realm of work that other trades have. I don't want to be stealing work from rod busters. I wouldn't want them to steal my work. So that being said, sometimes when I have to move steel to like put a tie through a wall, I need to retie the steel. I'm not going to tell a rod buster to come over here and tie steel for me. So I'm going to do it myself because I messed it up. So you're going to need these. Get good at tying steel. Look up some basic ties. Super simple. And going off of the wire thing, I have a bunch of cut up rebar tie wire in one of my pouches because it's a really great fastener. Take one of these and a 16 penny double head and use it as a fastener in concrete. Drill a hole with a 3/16 bit. You got a cheap, good fastener. Way cheaper than Tapcons. I've got an extendo Phillips bit. I don't use this a lot, but I'm the only person on my crew that has one. So I got all the tools people need, basically. The little ones. So it increases productivity if I've just got it in my bags and I don't need to run to the Connex, the gang box. Chalk line. This is a Irwin. I think it's a 30-yard chalk box. Most people run 50s, but they just don't, the 50s don't fit well in my bags. So I just got this 31. I prefer a lower gear ratio, 1-to-1, 3-to-1, something like that. It prevents it from getting tangled up and like messed up. And for chalk, the Keeson chalk is the best chalk I've ever used. Our layout guy has it, and that's the only chalk I use. Every other chalk I use has clogged up over time. And that, even though these are cheap, like $3 to $15 at the most expensive, it just gets annoying to replace them all the time. Also in that pocket, I've got 3-inch screws and a backup pencil. In this other pocket, I've got extra bits, mostly Phillips head. Phillips head 2 bits, but I've got some other ones too. Just the odd assortment. Whenever somebody needs a weird drill bit, I usually have it. Because this is super light, doesn't put a lot of weight in my bags, which is useful. Then I've got nut drivers in here. I can probably count the amount of times I've used these, but because we don't really use Tapcons at my company, but when I have to, they're nice to have. And they weigh like nothing, so I don't mind putting them in my bag. And last of all, I've got, no, I don't chew tobacco. These are chamfer nails. So we need to put up chamfer, we put these tiny little nails in. They're impossible to keep track of, so I stole one of my buddy's dip cans and put it in here. And moving back to the backside, I've got something that a lot of concrete carpenters will make fun of me for. I've got a big Demolition screwdriver. I kind of use it as a pry bar. So it's got a metal core here, and I just pry things with it. I can chip things. I can do all sorts of things with it. I know a lot of people carry chisels instead to kind of do a lot of the same work, but this is just a freaking workhorse. It's a Husky, 15 bucks for a pack of 2. Holds up. It does a lot of work for me. I can use it as like, I can tap on it, put it on a tie that's stuck, and just hit it. It's nice. Does a lot of work for me. I used to make fun of my foreman for using one, but then I got one, and I realized I was an idiot. Catspaw, gonna need one. The brand doesn't really matter. They're all the same. This one I've been using for almost my entire apprenticeship, about 2 years now. So, yep, Catspaw. Use it to pry nails. Hit in Simon's pins. Put it on a Simon's pin. Hit that in. And then last of all, I've got a 10-inch spud wrench. So you need an adjustable wrench. Do not cheap out on your adjustable wrench, because then this will break, will get really loose, and as you're reefing on something, it'll slip, your hand will slip, and your hand will go directly into a form and then break part of your hand. Don't ask me how I know. The spud end is really nice. You use it to align holes, and yeah, as you can see, I've kind of abused this wrench, and I wouldn't recommend using it the way I have, but it's a Crescent. It's held up so well. I think I got it at Tractor Supply for like 25 bucks. And it's 10 inches, because a lot of the spud wrenches you can see are 16, and I'm not carrying a 16-inch wrench on my in my pouches, when I already carry a lot of weight with the pins and the nails and all the other stuff, and my fall protection. Every ounce counts. So the guys you see walking around with a crap ton of shit in their bags all the time, and not a speck on their bags, they don't really do a lot of work. Last of all, tie wire. Usually I have it in a ball of duct tape, but my company for some reason never has tie wire, so we're always begging the rod busters for some, and this is just some I managed to scavenge up. So yeah, that's a little overview of what's going on. Obviously Carpenter's pencil too, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know if there's anything that I missed, that you use, that I haven't shown, or stuff you would recommend, and I'll see you guys in the next one.